going to talk about courting or dating and marriage in my culture. So please hit the like button when you just join me. Let me try and set the camera. Yes, this used to be done to welcome when you want a gathering. When you hear this drum, it's time to gather. Yes, thank you very much, those who have tuned in. Today, I'm going to talk about courting, or should they call it dating or marriage in my culture. Now, in my culture, dating used to be very, 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 very tough. But now things have changed. You can call someone, you can take their number, and you just agree to meet. But back in the day, and even some areas of my village where people don't cannot afford cell phone, dating is still the old way. Now, like I told you, in every home there is a house for the parents, a house for the girls, and a house for the boys. Now, when you're still young, and when I say young, like the age of 13 to come down, or 10 to come down, you sleep with your in the same hut with your mom and dad. Now, as soon as they think that now you've become a teenager, you will be direct to go and sleep with either the boys and the girls. Now, in my personal experience, when the first time I started sleeping with the boys, and it was time for them to basically, when it gets late, parents have gone to sleep, the boys will gather and you go to move. You start walking to go and look for girlfriends. Now, because the way we live, the whole village will be a clan, which means they are all relatives. Now, if you wanted to get a girlfriend, you have to move miles and miles away from home. Okay, not very very far, but let me say 6 or even sometimes 8 to 10 miles from home, the distance. So then you go and look for a girlfriend, and your sisters are also got the same way. Boys will move from very 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 far to come and find girlfriends. Now the way they used to meet are local dances, the traditional dances. Before this music came, you'll have to mostly drum. There will be like the local dances with drums, like for those who have seen, those are the dances for the youth. So you'll come there and gather and see the girls dancing, shaking their waists, and then you choose. You say that's the one I want. Now it will be a long night because you have to go and watch them dance. Then you say, I've chosen this girl. Now when you choose that girl, you'll have to come back. You have to find out who of my relatives know this girl. Then after finding out, you organize and come to visit. Now you come to visit your relative in that area. Let's assume your auntie got married there earlier. You'll go and visit your aunt, and then your aunt will go and call the girl you saw. You say, Aunt, I was here a few nights ago and I saw a girl like this. You have to describe that girl. And then your aunt will say, oh, that one is so and so's daughter. Now before you go ahead, your aunt must basically recommend that girl. He will tell you that yes, that girl you saw, she's from a good family, she's a good girl. Oh no, 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 that girl is not a good girl. So you can, whatever your auntie or your relative tells you about the girl is what will direct you to make a decision of either to date her or eventually even marry her. But the weak don't marry in our culture, because the first time I saw it, we went out, and because I told you the boys will live in one hut and the girls also live in one hut. So when you go and finally get a girl, and the girl says, yes, now I've accepted this boy, you will walk the distance. Now, with a few meters, let's say about 200 meters to reach the house where you're supposed to go and meet for first meeting. And normally, I said maybe the first time you're going to bring a girl into your house. Now she's accepted you as a boyfriend. But the final test for this is how strong you are. Because as soon as she will ask you, how far are we? Then you'll point that, you see the other hut there? That is where I stay. So she will now sit down. She'll stop and say, I'm not going. Now this is when a man or a boy has to prove her strength, that she's really a strong man. And if you cannot prove your strength, the girl will walk and go back to their home. That's that place where she stops. You have to wrestle her up to your hut, up to your grasshopper's hut, where you're going to sleep with her. If you fail, you have failed. Basically, you are not man enough to be a boyfriend or even a husband. So in the first experience when I saw that, I realized I don't think I can ever marry in my culture, because I saw a couple fighting. The girl just took the boy like this drum and hit the boy down. The boy just could still go back again. So basically, when you're dating a girl for the first time, when you want to have, let me just be blunt and say, the first time to have sex with her, she will reach a place and stop. Then you have to be strong. You have to prove that you're a man and wrestle her up to your heart. So if you're strong, you will carry her on your back, but she will be fighting. And the fighting does not stop there. Even though when you reach the house, she will not undress for you. It is you to undress her. You have to prove your manhood. You have to prove that you're strong. You will fight this girl. And now the sad bit is that even though you are about 8 brothers sleeping that hard, when one of you brings a girlfriend, all of you have to stand outside on the sides. Let him enter there, do his business, however long it takes. But normally it goes like up early morning, then he will get out and escort the girl back to their village. So if you walk 6 kilometers from where you got the girl, you'll have to walk the 6 kilometers again to take her back. But of course, with the time, these things are changing. They are now changing. But that is the traditional way of dating. You need to be strong and you have to go a long way. And to get a woman, that woman must be recommended by a relative, either your aunt or your cousin who got married. You always have to go and visit. You go during the nights, you dance, you watch girls dance, then you choose the one you preferred, then you look for someone who is close to that village. Then that person will tell that, hey, that is a very, very, very good girl. She's hardworking, their parents are good people, they are like this. Then after getting a recommendation, you just go and now you start chatting up the girl. When she accepts, okay, now I'm coming back on such a date to take you back so you can see our home. Now you bring her home, you show you that you're strong enough to take her inside. If you fail, the relationship ends there and then. Now because there was no communication like on phone, everything the agreement is made there and then. You said, I'm coming back on such a date, then yes. Then when the girl, after dating, if you see that yes, I can manage this girl, I'm a strong man, you'll then tell your relative to go and tell their family that I have a cousin who wants to marry your daughter. Then for them, they will also ask, where does this boy come from? They will say, she comes from a village. They will have to mention all the village, all their fathers. For some reason, however far the village is, these parents will always know that which clan is that, where does the mother live, where does the father live, and it continues like that. And then they agree. Then they will come. The elders will come. When the elders, when they say, okay, now it's okay, your son or your nephew can marry our daughter. Time now for the elders to go. The elders will come. Now, when the elders come, they come only male. Women will never go on this trip. They will come, and the person who introduces this family to the girl's family is called Jachona. Jachona is like a seducer, the one who seduces the girl for the boy. So he will go there, and then they will say, the people have come. Now they want to come and negotiate the dowry. So their son will also be seated on the side. Our son is interested in your daughter. Now, what is the way forward? Now, when they agreed, they said, okay, our daughter is is hardworking, she's beautiful, assuming she has gone to school, yeah, she has started this level. The level of 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 education matters. It also contributes to how much dowry is paid for a girl. So they will say, okay, let's say our daughter has finished primary 7. This will mean that she's we spent money on her to go to school. So we are going to ask for 10 cows, 20 goats, and other stuff that are supposed to be given for the aunties and the uncles and all other relatives. Now, it is now up to these elders to bargain for their son. Of course, now you also bargain according to how many cows you have. In our culture, the first wife of your son is paid for by your dad or your parents. So they will have to when your parents are bargaining, they need to know how much cow they have home. So if they're asking for 10 cows, 12, 20 goats, and other gifts that follow, then you have to make sure you have them in your kraal and you have all those gifts. They have to make sure there's no relationship at all between their parents or their grandparents or their great grandparents. Now, I had a video once about dating a relative. If that happens, it is punishable traditionally. Now, what they do, if you have discovered that you've had sex with a relative or you've had a child with a relative, the punishment is they will get the girl. The girl will be put inside a glass-such hut. She will be inside there. And then they will get strong boys will go surround the house where the girl is with a cane. Then the boy will be told to climb on top on top of that hut where the girl is. Now he climbs there with a goat. That goat is the to remove the curse that those couple have brought to the family or to the clan. Now the girl will shout the boy's name and tell him to jump down after slaughtering the goat. Now when he jumps down, he has to run for his life because as soon as he jumps down, the boys around are waiting to cane him, and they will cane him if you dare fall down, they will just cane you to a level that is so basically it will be elders to intervene and say, okay, now stop there. But they always do that to avoid to make sure it is not repeated. So when they go to discuss these dowries, or even before that, the aunt must ensure that these couples are not related. And when they mean by relation, not only them two, their parents, their grandparents, and their grandparents must not be related. And that has always been very, very hard because now with the time, the population is getting bigger, and people are getting basically intermarrying. So it used to be so hard to try and abolish that. So now when they agree on the dowry, yes, they will they would start to do that now. Okay, this is what this is what we can afford, and they will all agree on the bride price and say yes, this is the day we are going to come to bring the dowry. Now, dowry is not normally paid at once. Dowry is not paid no at once. If you can afford, yes, but for those who cannot afford, you just come and bring. Say today, if you ask me for 10 cows, say yes, I've come with 5 cows and 10 goats. I'll bring the balance. So you can do that over and over a period of time. But as long as you've made the first deposit, it means that you've got the blessing of both the parents of of both sides. You mean now you can now live as husband and wife, and that has always been the way marriage has been. But these days, things have changed. You will see a girl and ask her, "Do you have a phone? Can I have your number?" And from there, you should start talking. And before even you decide to get married, you will know everything about each other, and you'll make a decision knowing very well that what we are doing is right or wrong. So that is marriage in our culture, and it has been done that way. But mostly these days, it is dying out. But though in remote areas, you still find this happening. People have to go a distance, look for a girlfriend, and then when you get a girlfriend, of course, you have to go through the same procedures. But these days, some people can even decide to bring cash. You'll say, I want 10 cows. They say, okay, how much do you value each cow? I value each cow at 100,000. Okay, 10 cows, that is a million. They come with a bag with a million shillings, they count, and marriage is done. Please, if you've just joined, thank you very much for those who have joined. If you've just joined, please hit the like button, and you can become a member of my channel. Of course, it will be at a small fee, but please support me if you're interested. Yeah, this is Pakwach the World live stream talking about marriage and courting. Now, marriage in our culture, uh, let me say, polygamy is still there. It's trying to, of course, with religion, some of them they try to preach against against polygamy. But when we are growing up, myself, I'm a product of polygamy. My dad had more than two wives, and it was no problem. They could even live together. We used to live in the same compound. My mom, my stepmom, and my other stepmom, and children grew up together. But these days, it has become a big deal. Like people preach against it. But long time ago, even your first wife could tell you that, sorry, honey, I'm really tired. I cannot handle this alone. To taking care of you, taking care of the, I was requesting, if you really want, get a second wife. And indeed, some of them, like some other cultures, like in Sudan, there are tribes where the first wife can choose the second wife for the husband. But in our culture here, it is there. Up to now, I know men in this village who have two, three, four, even five wives living together in the same compound. You will have his main house and then have houses built for each wife, and then have two big huts for the girls and the boys. Each time someone is old enough, they think now is now teenager, he moves. The boy moves in the boys hut, the girls move to the girls hut, and that one has been happening. And up to now, they still have debates. Even in parliament, they are debating whether they should they should legalize it, because some women are complaining about men having more than one wife. So it used to be there. It was all mostly they would say, so long as you are able and capable of taking care of two wives, you can have them. But the way it is in my village, you don't have really men don't really have to take care of their wives, because all they have to do, they will have a garden. Each woman with his children, they wake up in the morning and cultivate, and whatever they cultivate is what they use to live on, to feed on. So the man will always have to find a way these days to make sure he pays school fees for all the children. He makes sure he's providing for them. But when it comes to like in the village setting, most of them they don't even bother about kids going to school, but they make sure they have garden for them to go and cultivate. Now, whatever they cultivate is what they to help them to feed themselves and the family. And of course, whatever is left over is kept for future, basically to feed on in the future. So polygamy still exists, and there are some men here who still have more than one wife, and they live publicly. It's not, they don't even hide. They don't even hide about. They don't even go and say or deny. They will have. You'll come and tell the first wife, I'm getting a second woman, whether she approve or not. Because if you normally say, if you don't approve, then fine. But me, I'm getting a second woman. So men have different reasons for doing that. And sometimes the woman will go to the elder and say that, now your son or my husband has brought in another wife, and me, I don't want that. But your elder will say that, listen, he's a man, and if he's capable of taking care of two women, let him be. Let him be. So that has always been marriage in my culture, and it's still that way. But of course, many people are finding it hard to handle because of the cost of living. When we were growing up, there was a lot of land, which meant that you could cultivate as much food as you want. But now with the population growing, it means there's little land for people to cultivate and feed themselves and their family. So people now try to discourage people who discourage other members who want to get married, who want to marry more than one wife. Because now, if you can't, the fact that they have to go to school, because back in the day, government schools used to be very, very, very good. But these days, government schools are the worst. Private schools are where everyone, the rich, want to take their children. So if you're going to have two wives and each of them producing more than five children, those are more than 10 children, how are you going to pay for them school fees? How are you going to provide for what they need? The clothes to wear, the shoes, leave alone feeding, because if they fall sick, government hospitals are not all that reliable. You go there, you'll spend the whole night without even seeing a doctor. You might get a doctor, but there will be no medicine. So you get a second wife or you get many children, you'll have to deal with the consequences of taking care of them, paying the medical bill, paying school fees, dressing them, because they have to dress up. They have to dress up. So people are being discouraged from having two or more than one wife. And but in this culture, in the villages where people don't value education, they don't want to take their children to school, they still have more than one wife. They can have as many. I know one man who has 8 women, 8 wives, and I've been trying to get an interview with him, but only when all the women are together. And he said he's going to invite me one day so I can talk to him with his children, his wife and children. And because I was telling earlier the problem we have because of there's no land, shortage of land, him decided to move very, very, very far from everyone else and settle in a place where there's land, massive land, and is built each woman a hut, and that's where they live. And it's done that because here where we are now, the place is so congested. You wouldn't be able to put to keep 8 wives in one compound, because there will be no home, there will be no space to build a hut or even live alone to cultivate. So there are those people who still believe they can get as many women as they can, as they want, not because that they can afford, because they don't really care. They will get the women, the children are produced, how they are dressed, they don't care how they eat, how they sleep. So I think some of these cultures, I know I'm a supporter of our culture, but some of these uh, some of these need to die because it's not affordable. You cannot even it's not even sustainable, because to have many children and many women, it is not sustainable. I don't know what you think. I don't know where you're watching from. Please let me know where you're watching from. And thank you very much, those who are tuned in. Thank you for supporting. Hit the like button and share. So this is my culture, Pakwach the world, and I'm in Pakwach. That's what I'm recording. Pakwach is in Uganda, to be specific, northern Uganda, West Nile, near the border of Congo and Sudan. That's where Pakwach is. Now, Pakwach, the people of Pakwach are called Jonam. Jonam is one of the smallest tribes in Uganda. It's very, very small. Uh, for those who have heard of the history of our history, we are part of Nilotics, the Luo. We all came from a place in southern Sudan, Bahr el Ghazal, and then settled here, where there were two brothers, Nipir and Labongo. Of course, they had a disagreement, and others they divided. So the Nipir remained here. Labongo crossed the River Nile and went. Now, for those who went, those are the Acholis, the Langis, the Adolas, and the Luos in Kisumu, Kenya. Now, this way, we have the Jonam, we have the Alurs, the Lendus, who settled in the mountains, the borders of Congo. Then we have those who went deep inside into Congo. So that's where you find all of us are Luo. And I'm actually planning a trip to go to Kisumu. Now, the Luos who went to Kenya, they settled also along the shores of Lake Victoria in Kisumu, and most of them are fishermen. So I'll be visiting the laws of Kenya, and I compare and see what is different, what do we share in common. Because when they are singing, I can hear some words. And I hosted one Luo here, a Kenyan who came here and visited us. We had a meal together and we tried to compare the words. And we realized that most of the words are the same. So we can really understand each other. So yes, like I was telling you, so the Jonamu stayed behind. There are really there were very few clans who stayed behind here. But of course, with the population growing, intermarriages, some of them would come from up and marry and stay here. The place are now become populated. We have so big, and intermarriages of course came in. Now, like me, for example, my dad married my mom. My mom is from Central Buganda, the Baganda. So, but my other stepmom was from here, but another village called Ragem. So yes, there have been a lot of intermarriages, and through that, many cultures are disappearing. Because like when my mom came here, she tried to come with her own culture, the Baganda culture, and then try to learn this culture. So sometimes they try to mix these two, or even basically they get confused and they all die out. Now, of course, normally most children tend, because the mother is normally the person doing most of the things, you learn most of your mom's culture. And we have learned, when you're growing up now. My culture, I had to learn it to, like, when I was now big enough. That's when I started had a chance, because most parents here, like especially the fathers, are not friends with their children. I was never friends with my dad. I don't even remember a time we sat down that we were laughing. No, it was always tough. So it's only your mom. If you wanted to know something about your dad, you go and ask your mom that, mom, this and this, what can you tell me? That no, this is used to be. She now should be the one to teach you. If not your mom, then your auntie, who is your dad's sister. Now, in English, yeah, for us, your auntie is either your dad's sister or your mom's sister. Then your uncle is either your mom's brother or your dad's brother. Now the rest, now these days, people have now every man is an uncle or your father. Every woman is either your auntie or your mother. But here, if I see an old woman, my neighbor in the village, that will be like a mom to me. And here, a child is raised by the whole clan. I can be walking and I find a child misbehaving. I don't need to know who his parents are. I will just discipline him, or I will tell him off. The same way, if my child is misbehaving along the way, anyone will 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 put them to book. So most dads never friends with their children. They are always tough. That's why you see that even when my dad used to eat and invite you to eat with him on the table, it will be a privilege. You will just say, "Oh my God, what is this? How come I'm sitting at the high table eating with my dad?" Because all of you will sit on the mat, then the boys will sit on the side, the girls on the side with their mothers, and the father will sit alone. Now, when your father invites you to sit on the table with him, just know now there's something happening. He is now recognizing you, or is preparing you for something. Now, like I told you, this shrine of mine, this is like where dad would sit. He would sit here with his elders, his colleagues. Let me say the elders of the clan, his brothers, or his uncles, or like the elders of the whole village. They would come and sit there and talk. Now, my dad came here and sat there and called him that, hey, come, we need to talk, it will be something very important, and everyone will be eager, waiting to hear what what did they discuss. Of course, normally, whatever you discuss, you can't tell. But from now and then, you'll be hated by your other brother, because they will say now, he's been chosen as the heir, the man who is going to know the secrets of our dad. So this shrine of mine uh, is important. It is a place I'm going to meditate, and I will always have my meetings with my brothers, my nephews. I will put them there and then talk to them, and the way we used to be, or the way the culture is. That is my shrine. Now, these days shrines are used by witch doctors. So when I have one like this, they people are wondering why. Everyone who has seen this from the time, I'm even surprised now. It has been over a week since, but everyone who has seen it is having, they are having funny feelings about our family. They're starting to say, now my sister last week, when not just, yeah, on Friday, when she came here, because in our family we are Catholics, so she told me, now if the clergy sees this, we will not allow any member of our family to have Holy Communion. Now I'm like, what have they become? How can you stop someone from having Holy Communion when you know very well that they have repented, they have done everything that is in the book, but some something that me have set up in our in our family home should stop someone else from having Holy Communion. Religion is becoming a business, and they act like they are the gods themselves, which is wrong. I'm Catholic and I do pray, but I don't think they should be the one to decide who goes to heaven, who eats the Holy Communion, who goes to church. I think that is wrong. I don't know what you think, but that is my opinion. That is my opinion. So yeah, what I've been telling you, that is marriage in my culture, or that's what it used to be. But these days now, when you go to the city, they do it separately. I'll give you an example of in Europe. I think if you want to get married, you'll get married once in church, or you get a rabbi. But now, in these days, people can get married. They do marriage about 3 times. You will have to go first, like when you go to visit your future in-laws for the first time. You'll be given a list of demands. Some will bring sofa sets, will bring cows, will bring money, will bring all sorts of gifts. That is the first bit is done. The second bit now will be an introduction where you bring the dowry. The dowry, of course, they will ask you, these have made it so. They will have loud music, people dancing. You'll bring the cows, you'll bring the money, you bring the goats, the hens, all sort of gifts for the in-laws and the dowry itself. Then after that, the in-law will ask you, now, when are you taking our daughter to church? So imagine that you have to prepare for the intro, for the getting to know the family. You spend, now you bring the dowry, you spend, now again you have to go and wed in church. Now, in my understanding, if I went and met my in-laws and brought the cows, that is marriage done. Why should I again go to church and also do the same thing? Because me, I would think that if you go to church, that's also different type of the same marriage, basically adding on to what you've already done traditionally. So should we really have traditional marriage and then go to church and also have another marriage where they put the ring? If in the traditional marriage they also put a ring as a promise that yes, till death do us apart. Now when you go to church, it's the same thing, but this time now it is handled by the priest or the clergy. The first one is handled by the traditional leader or the clan leader. So you find that it has become so expensive that most boys can have a woman and they stay for long because they can't raise the money to do the marriage. You'll do this and they want the church. You cannot do the church before you do the traditional marriage, because traditional marriage is the one that means a lot to the family of the girl. So that is the marriage in my culture. And as I prefer the old way, because the old way you will know the girl you're marrying. Even your family will even have to question. They will have even to send someone to go and investigate the family. That family, of course, they will always come up that, oh, maybe the granddad was a witch, or they believe in witchcraft, or ABCD. So that's not a good family. Or that, oh, the mother left because of this, so that girl grew up in the hands of the auntie, so she's not going to be a good. So all these things used to be investigated before a girl is chosen to marry, or before a man chooses a girl from a family. They need to know all these. So I thank you very, very much, all those who have tuned in, and I hope you have subscribed. For those who have not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel, Pakwach to the World, and hit the like button and share. Please let other people also join this conversation. Like I told you, you can become a member of my channel. And please, if you're watching, leave a comment on what you want, you would know, you can, what you'd love to see, or what you want me to record about my village or about my culture. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm signing off. Don't forget to subscribe Pakwach the World. See you next time. Adimudo nimudalo. Adimudo, adimudo nimudalo. Adimudo nimudalo. Adimudo, adimudo nimudalo. See you. Bye. Thank you.